And he did there call out Democrats saying they want open borders. Joining me here in Dallas is U.S. drug czar Sara Carter. To that point, Sarah, I was writing this down as he was speaking, and it is pretty interesting. We've had this conversation. You and I, honestly, have had this conversation for well over a decade.
Well over a decade. I've been doing this for 25 years.
And we've known each other for a long time, Sarah.
Yes.
It's often asked why, what is the end game for Democrats? But when you add up the different measures that they fight, you get actually a motivation, do you not? Keep the border open, have sanctuary cities, get in the way to stop deportations and defund ICE, and ensure that there is no SAVE Act for voter integrity in the United States. Doesn't that make a pretty interesting math equation?
It makes a very interesting math equation. It's all about the elections. It's all about changing the trajectory of this country, changing this nation entirely, ideologically and culturally. That is what the Democrats have done. Sheridan Gorman should have never died. That should have never happened to her. The policy under the Biden administration, it wasn't a failed policy in their eyes. It was their policy. Their policy was to leave the border wide open. I stood there on the border watching thousands of people pour in day after day. I flew into Central America. I watched the groups, thousands, mostly military-aged males, marching into, Guatemala from Honduras on their way to the United States with one thing only in mind. It wasn't fleeing a natural disaster, Will. It wasn't about leaving a war behind. It was about causing war here. It was about moving into the United States with a purpose. Many of them said they were coming here for economic reasons. Others we knew had been released from prisons, were gang members, were from Venezuela, from other parts of the region. It appeared as though a lot of the prisons had been let out. You know, they were releasing people. Maduro was very famous for this, pushing people, NGOs allowing it to happen. And who suffered most? The American people. And by the way, for the bleeding heart liberal, also, the poor innocent children that were part of the human trafficking scheme that was coming into our country. What happened to all of those children? They not only disappeared in the country, but for those that were lost in Mexico and in Central America that we'll never find again, they're gone forever and justice will never be found. But look at Sheridan Gorman. She will never have a chance at a life. Her family will never see her get married. She will never finish school. She will never be a part of our society. It's the most horrific crime is to put the crime against the American people. This administration, President Donald J. Trump, puts the American people first. They are the number one resource. And for the Democrats, they were always last.
Sarah, you and I were just talking about fentanyl and the success over the past year in reducing the number of fentanyl deaths in America. And it should be screamed from the rooftops. This is a massive success of a story that we've done for a couple of years. Fentanyl was a plague on this country, on the young people of this country, claiming lives, and those deaths have plummeted over the past year. Now, I know that you've been in Ecuador working with Ecuador to fight drug cartels somewhere outside U.S. borders. It seems to me this fentanyl battle, yes, has been improved by a closed border, but has to have done something in these places like Ecuador and Mexico where you've been doing work.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I met with the defense minister during the Conference of the Americas in Miami. That was just before I left to Vienna for our counter-narcotics conference in Vienna, where I delivered the speech for the delegation, for the U.S. delegation. I was just with the ambassador from Ecuador. This is about working military to military. These organizations, these cartels, these are not little gangs. These are organizations that have been allowed to amass hundreds of billions of dollars, military equipment, communications, resources that outpace our law enforcement in many ways. This is the reason why Stephen Miller, everybody who is working at the DOW, Pete Hegseth, our good friend, Secretary Hegseth, is working with the nations in the Western Hem and saying, look, let's work together. Let's cooperate together on a military to military level to combat these foreign terrorist organizations and get them out of business. They can no longer operate with impunity in the United States, and that's what we're doing.
Before we go, Sarah, I just want to play this for you and for the audience, because I think it's important. It brings our conversation full circle. Is it really about the bleeding heart liberals concerned about someone through the lens of empathy, or is it about elections? And is it about serving people who are not American citizens? And I think Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal lays it out really well when she talks about reparations.
And we also need offensive actions around prosecutions. We need real accountability, because at the end of the day, the people that have been inflicting this harm need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought before us, and they need to be held account for the trauma that they have created, and we are going to have some form of reparation for the kids and the families that have been traumatized through all of this.
So, Sarah, American citizens need to pay reparations to illegal immigrants.
No, the American citizens need to be paid reparations by the Democratic Party for the atrocities that they have waged upon the American people. And President Trump and this administration will fight day and night. I don't care what we have to do to protect our children and protect the American people from people like that.
Sara Carter, really good to see you again.
Good to see you too,
Keep up the
Will.
good work with your new job.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a big job.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.